Welcome back to the Haunting of BLY Manor. I know it's been a very long time. I'm very sorry. I've only had time to focus on one show because of my work schedule, and I decided to go with The Mandalorian because it's actually coming out weekly. But it looks like my work schedule is going to be slowing down, so I'm back to it, I promise.
Distinguished.
I guess we're definitely getting some backstory on these glasses now.
It's like fancy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so they were childhood friends who became...
You ready for this?
I'm assuming boyfriend and girlfriend? Are they getting married? Wait, does he know that she likes girls? Does she know that she likes girls at this point? They're just throwing me in here. I'm not really sure how to take this.
Get down on one knee, and
I've learned from Black Mirror not to trust,
and she turned
you know,
me down.
nerdy guys who
"We're
you
too
want to feel
young."
bad for.
And
Maybe he does too. I can't tell if he's just being awkward or if he like doesn't mean what he's saying. I haven't heard this song in a little while.
You better take care of yourself as well. You know, like, save them all if you can, but put your own oxygen mask on first.
All the time.
It's true.
Here, come here.
Gotta take care of yourself if
This
you
is just
want to help other people.
I'm so proud of my sons, but I don't think this would suit any of them. Anyway, come, let's see.
Aw,
I
she
mean, we'd have
she
to
seems
take it
like
in,
she's a
of
sweet
course.
lady.
And, we'll take it
Maybe
out,
a little
probably.
oblivious, but
But,
she seems
well, it's
nice.
Just,
Beautiful.
is it bad that I don't like the dress?
I don't know what to say.
oh, good morning.
Just not a fan of the
Mrs.
long
Omar.
sleeves, I guess. Or the color. Or the pattern.
Honestly, you don't have to go if you don't want to. Really? Said as much. Pretty clear.
I would then choose not to go.
Okay, yeah. I had a funeral in my own life not so long ago.
So her childhood friend died then?
Did I pinch her?
No.
Well, I'll be back in a few hours.
You know, if I was Danny, I
If
would just
find
tell
out
her.
You've not been relaxing. There will be serious consequences.
Like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't really know the whole story, so I'll save that for later. Ooh, look at that look. The flirt is strong between the two of them.
They had to bury empty boxes.
So what happened to their
In a way,
parents?
they'll
Are we gonna
always
tell
be
us?
here.
And Miss Clayton said I wet my pants. Because in America, pants mean trousers.
That is funny.
So
She said I wet my
adorable.
pants like a baby.
That is not what she
Miss-
said.
Not my cup of tea, church in the village. Haven't been there since.
I don't think she can leave the property because
Since I
she's
was married.
dead.
I had nothing but respect.
Maybe
for
she's
him,
not, but I still feel so
She was
strongly
wrong.
about that.
Dementia is a savage thing.
Viola Lloyd. Well, that's gonna be important.
Just shoot me. Put me out of my misery. It's not fair on anyone.
I completely
I think
agree with that.
fairness comes into it, yeah.
I honestly hope I die in my 60s or early 70s because I do not want to deal with my body like falling apart with old age, especially with something as horrible as like Alzheimer's or dementia. Fuck that. Oh, what the fuck? Seems like her like little visions or PTSD
Yeah.
are getting worse.
I'm fine.
Creepy ass motherfucker. I don't care if he's a ghost or if he's alive. Grab something and beat the shit out of him. I'm coming for you, bitch.
She's been making your favorite.
I see you, bitch. Sorry, there's another there's another ghost in the background.
For a change.
It looks a lot better on her.
I should have
I'll
kept
say.
my dress, the lucky one in this equation.
Ooh,
And I'm happy to say he knows it.
You've got great shoulders. You know that?
thanks.
Hey, now, you leave her alone. She can't help it. She's American. Essentially savage people.
Would he be going away now, Owen? No, she likes you. Really? Mrs. Groves, tell him.
Just stick your dinner.
Yeah, like I know you're trying to help, but shut up.
You're not dying, you know.
Maybe not the best thing to say right then.
But nobody else knew. And I was walking around dead.
They focused on
But
Miss
everybody
Gross
could see
when
and
they
hear
said
me.
that.
You have to be to feel that way. I wasn't dead.
It's actually really profound.
Really, really sad.
I think I ought to be allowed a glass of wine.
Oh, great. Possessed again.
You know,
Just killed that wonderful moment.
I want an actual bloody drink.
Too fucking bad, little shit. I don't care if you're possessed or not, no. Excuse me? Everyone's like actually in the place that they're at in the house. It makes me really nervous. Is that supposed to be Peter?
You've got Peter.
It is Peter. And he was standing right next to Miles, it looked like.
I'm sorry?
You do that a lot. You look over my shoulder. What are you looking at?
I don't know what you mean.
Please just say it, because it really bothers me too.
You want to act like the grown-ups? I understand. I was the same way.
I just don't
love
think
somebody
that's
too.
why that happened. Did that door
did.
move? Was that a
I lost
continuity
people a
error
few
or was
ways
that
in my
intentional?
life.
I've been drifting lately quite a bit, I'm afraid.
Yeah, because you're dead.
And I just wanted to give us a night where we don't have to talk about any of it.
He seems like a genuinely nice person.
And I can't.
Aww.
What did I do?
I've had to break up with a girlfriend for, like, pretty much this exact reason. Like, you know, as much as you love the other person, it's not in a romantic or a sexual way, and it really, really hurts for the both of you to
This makes no sense.
admit that
I should have said something sooner.
and move past it.
I didn't want to hurt you. So much. Even still.
Oh, this
It's
is
just not. I don't.
You, Danielle.
this is hitting me kind of hard. This is mirroring what happened with me
Why are you
very
doing this to
closely.
me?
Eddie! Eddie!
Holy shit! Well, no wonder she feels so fucking guilty. Oh, and of course it wasn't like an instant death or anything. It had to be torturous.
But that's why they call it a bonfire, isn't it?
As I was saying, that's why it's called a bonfire. From the Old English, meaning bonfire. Build a pile
Oh,
of
I
old
did not know
bones and
that.
burn away the shadows. Anyone got any old bones to throw?
Danny, you got the
Alright, let's
glasses.
So they left out all the bad stuff. And all the good stuff.
Why is this
They didn't
episode
say
so
how fine
sad?
she was. She was my anchor. And then I suppose she was my burden.
Why is it so sad? It's just getting me. God, that would be so tough. Like for every single one of them for a different reason, that would be such a hard thing to handle. Well, I was wrong about him being like abusive or something like that. It's a bit more complicated.
He was a wonderful young man, and you were
She actually did love him. Like I said, not romantically or sexually, probably, but she loved him. That's really creepy and really sad now that I know the context.
Seen things that aren't there.
So what else?
Well,
They're so good together. Like, their chemistry is amazing.
Feel like you can't find your...
Ooh. I wouldn't exactly say this is the right time, but fuck it. Oh, come on, man.
I can't stand to look at them.
So why do you think she can?
I couldn't bear to throw them away, so I thought, please.
okay, of
Thank
course.
That music made my heart race so hard. Oh, I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. Oh, I see the plague doctor. I just barely
Clayton.
saw that.
In the wardrobe.
What are you looking at, Miles?
Moving from in there to under. A creature.
Are they looking
A
at...
creature under my bed. To do awful things.
Ooh, I don't
Yeah,
like that.
both
Oh my
hands.
god.
I am so sorry, Flora.
No.
That sounds like an awful
No.
treat.
Oh, I definitely see one of the dolls' heads moving. gonna toss out the glasses? There you go. Oh, there's definitely someone standing behind her over there.
It's just you and me then.
Oh, and him. Why would they end it there? I'm assuming that means she's like dealt with it. I feel like there wasn't like a whole lot of resolution to it. It was more like, unless there's gonna be more in another episode, I feel like the ending of that like story for her was just a little like, okay, it's done. So I like this episode a bit more than the last one, but I still don't like it as much as I liked the second episode. I'm glad we definitely got some answers as to who she was seeing. Like, we know for sure it's her childhood friend who she was gonna marry and then ended up breaking things off because, you know, she doesn't feel that way about men. And the moment she broke things off, he stepped out of the car and got like hit by a truck, so she feels insanely guilty. And on top of that, his family still considers her as one of their own because they're either that kind or, you know, they don't know what really happened there. I'm sure it's kind of a combination of the two, but the fact that she has to hide that from them and deal with the guilt of feeling like she's responsible for his death, and I'm sure on many levels feeling the guilt of, you know, not being able to love him the way she wanted to, it's all just too much for her, and she's been carrying it around for, I think they said years. I didn't expect it to be quite that long. They continue to play with the Miles being possessed thing, which I still don't know if that's 100% what's going on, but to me, at this point, it seems kind of obvious. Like, he's a totally different person for short periods of time. And then they showed Peter Quinn's doll, like, right next to his bed in the dollhouse. Like, if it's not Peter Quinn possessing him, I'll be absolutely shocked. Like, that seems almost a given at this point. I'm still on the fence as to whether Flora is being possessed or not. She seems like she says some really profound things that I wouldn't really expect a child to, but at the same time, she might just genuinely be, you know, a very wise and sweet child. I don't really know, because her mood shifts do not seem nearly as dramatic as Miles. In the previous episode, they kind of did, but in this one, she seemed fairly steady. So I don't know. I feel like they also continue to hint at the fact that Miss Gross is dead. That one's also not a 100% given, but I feel very strongly about it. And when Flora was saying, if you feel like you're going to die, that means you're definitely alive. Because when you're dead, you can't feel that way anymore. And while she said that, it was focused on Miss Gross, which to me was probably not a coincidence. I don't think that was just an arbitrary decision. I think that was done on purpose because Miss Gross is fucking dead. However, it did look like she was drinking the wine during this episode, which would be the first time I think we've actually seen her consume any like food or beverage. I suppose she could have been like faking it, but I don't know. That threw a slight little wrench into my theory. The main theme of this episode seemed to be that of loss, dealing with loss and how you can grieve and let go of it, or hold on to it for a very long time, as Danny has. Because that bonfire scene was really emotional, actually, seeing them all discuss those that they've lost and how they're trying to honor them and let them go. Specifically Owen's speech about his mom, that was really, really sad. And I appreciate that he even mentioned, you know, at the funeral they glossed everything over, they made it pretty, but the truth is, towards the end it was really bad, and she was quite honestly a burden to him at that point. But he also spoke about the good and how much she adored him and loved him and the happy moments they had. Like, it was a really touching scene, and didn't quite make me cry or anything, but it did get me a little misty-eyed, because that was both really sad and really sweet. They progressed Danny and Jamie's relationship to the next level, and then took it back real quick. And I think that was the real moment she decided she needed to let her ex-fiance go, because it seems like it's been haunting her and, putting everything on hold for a very, very long time. And I don't think she wants to, let Jamie go. She's like, I can't let this control my life forever. And if it means not being able to be with this woman who I'm definitely falling for, then I have to let this go, which is kind of what prompted her to burn the glasses and, sit down and have a little chat with him. Obviously, they didn't actually have a chat, but you know what I mean. And the episode was very light on any horror until they hit me with that really creepy moment with that woman in the white dress walking behind Danny when she was downstairs and the kids were desperately trying to get her not to look. Which again reinforces my idea the kids are probably trying to save her and keep her safe, which is why I assume they locked her in the closet in that first episode. I don't know if that has anything to do with Miles and possibly Flora being possessed, but it seems like the kids themselves are trying to keep her safe. Cinematography in this episode was, again, very good. I wasn't particularly struck by any specific moment that I think really stood out cinematography-wise, but it was all done well. And I do particularly like the way they do the character design for her ex-fiance, like the ghost of him or the PTSD version of him. For a while I thought it was just a stylistic choice to make the glasses like all white, but now that we know what happened to him, I think it's actually kind of cool that it's because, that's what he looked like right before he died and got hit by the truck. So I think that's a pretty cool decision. Music-wise, the episode was again on par with the other ones. The score that they played during the eulogy scene with all the characters, I think was very fitting and honestly very moving. So, everything was on par there. Again, nothing that truly stood out to me or struck me as amazing, but it all worked very, very well. I don't know if I'm going to get this name right, but I think for acting, Rahul Kohli, I hope I got that right. The guy who plays Owen, I think he was the shining star in this episode. He didn't have as much to do as some of the other characters, and I think Victoria Pedretti absolutely killed it as usual. But his speech was so moving, and I really enjoyed how he was holding in a lot of the emotions he was feeling while also letting himself feel it. It was a very natural way to go about it, I think. Super emotional scenes like that, they can sometimes come across as really cheesy or forced if the person is just letting out every ounce of emotion in a way that doesn't really fit the character or the scene. But I don't think he did that at all. I think he had just the right amount of reservation and vulnerability in it. Editing and pacing was certainly slow. Not quite as slow as the last episode, I don't think, because this did provide quite a bit of backstory and information. But the show has a slow pace. It's taking its time with just about everything. And I'm hoping that doesn't mean during one of the episodes it drops too much on you. Starting with the next episode or the one after that, I think they're really going to have to start giving you answers and picking up the pace. Otherwise, the last episode or two is just going to be too jam-packed. But, we'll see, how it all goes. But this one itself had some progression to the story, but not a whole lot. I feel like the main progression that there was is Danny let go. I don't know if it will work, but based on everything that happened in this episode, I would assume that it does, and that is a big step for her character. Overall, I'm going to give this episode, I feel like it should deserve a higher score, but I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. This is a little less comparative to the other episodes and more just how I feel about it. Because by the end of the episode, I certainly enjoyed it, but it left me wanting a little bit more from it, And so I think an 8.5 is honestly a fair score for it. And as I said, I think starting next episode, or at least the one after that, they're really going to need to start playing out the big moments to come in the season. Otherwise, there's just going to be too much stuff happening at the end. But considering how well made the story was for Hill House, I have faith that Mike Flanagan is going to get this right. So I get the feeling next episode is going to be some big stuff. or at least one big thing. And very shortly, we're gonna really start building up this story into some pretty interesting territory. I don't know what territory or what exactly I'm like getting myself into with this show, but at this point I'm practically begging it to, lay it on me. So I'm excited for the next episode, and I'm very eager to see where this all goes. And that's about it. I don't think a vast majority of children live the dreams that they had as children.
I don't care if they can't see I can.
Oh, I saw the dude in the corner of my eye like the last second. That